specifically with regard to the state of the system in Southern California. Um, I took a few notes during Ms. Ng, your testimony, but um, did I think you said there were 150 miles left of pipeline that are due to be replaced. Did I get that right?
Actually, what I was referring to was when we initially filed our plan, we had to rapidly review decades of paper records, and we initially had a higher estimate of the number of pipelines in class 3 and 4 like locations and high consequence areas. Those were the criteria set forth in the NTSB safety recommendations following San Bruno. We initially had a higher estimate, and once we took additional time to review our records, we had only about 150 miles remaining.
And how many of those miles have you been able to repair since receiving or since updating your review?
It's well over 100 miles. I could get you the exact number after the meeting.
So give or take, though, about 50 miles, maybe probably less than that of the remaining class 3 or 4 candidates for upgrade?
Correct.
Okay. But that does not include, I was going to ask you about line 235-2, which ruptured in a more remote area, as well as I think it was line 4000 that was taken out of service subsequently, and then line 3000 that during that repair process was also reduced capacity. Are those kinds of larger trunk lines not within that class 3-4 analysis that you were talking about?
The majority of that mileage would be outside of high consequence areas in more rural regions. The helpful way to understand it is a pipeline may have spans that are outside of high consequence areas and then have areas that are within high consequence areas, but you're correct that pipelines in less populated areas would not be included in that figure.
Got it. And do you have an estimate at this point of what the rate impacts have been of those various repair projects, sort of class 3 and 4 plus the larger trunk lines in the rural areas, 4,000, 235-2, say since when did it rupture? 2017, I think, is when line 235 ruptured. Do you know how much ratepayer impact those repairs have had?
We prepare rate impact analyses when we submit applications for review of the costs that we've incurred. I could pull up those numbers from the public filings and provide them to your office.
That'd be great. Do you have a sense, though, just as a round numbers, are we talking millions, hundreds of millions, billions?
If we're talking about the amount that we've invested in pipeline infrastructure, safety enhancements following San Bruno, it is over $1 billion.
And in addition to the enhancements, though, the reduced capacity in those lines during repair, that's really been an area of my concern is the repair process of 235-2 and 4,000 took so long. And we're going into another winter season here where we're probably going to have those sort of same cold snaps. My sense was, in addition to those infrastructure investments that were rate-based and approved by the PUC, there were also actual gas supply cost spikes associated with it. Is that, do you have a sense of those numbers?
I do not. We do, however, need to take lines out of service to maintain them, and that is part of operating a natural gas system. I believe what you're asking is the estimated value of reduced capacity when we reduce the pressure on a pipeline to create a larger margin of safety, or when we remove a pipeline to do necessary assessment work. I don't have an estimate of that incremental cost.
Got it. And I know that the CPUC was tracking that additional cost, especially given the length of time that 235 repair took. Mr. Palmer, do you know, or is your division aware of that sort of incremental additional cost?
Unfortunately, with the Safety Enforcement Division, no, we do not track that. That would be Energy Division, but I am happy to follow up with them and find out from our,
Okay.
review what's coming up. So I wrote that.
Appreciate that. Back to Ms. Ng, just very briefly here. Do you anticipate any further major outages in service or repair events going into this winter season?
We do everything we can to avoid outages during a period of peak need. I can't, if I did know of an outage, by the way, I wouldn't be able to disclose it publicly because that would be market sensitive, but we do what we can to avoid that during peak months.
Okay, but you can't conclusively say that there are no major repairs being planned for the coming months?
I'm not aware of any, but I wouldn't necessarily know of every.
I understand, but like we all knew 235 was out and was taking a long time, and I've got my own opinions about why it took so long, and a back and forth that took place between you all over stream bed alteration permits. I'm just trying to figure out how we can avoid those delays and the cost impacts associated with those delays in the future. So I recognize that's not directly a safety issue. It's more the rate impacts of this safety issue. But I would just appreciate if you guys had any data about that incremental cost factor. And Mr. Palmer, this may be something that I know Commissioner Randolph had been tracking this as part of the Aliso Canyon proceeding. And so hopefully the PUC is paying attention to that. I know that you guys have authorized about $300 million worth of expenditures to perform upgrades for piping and equipment for leak management. And I think that's actually money well spent. So I think it's smart to be investing ratepayer dollars in the safety work, but the delays in that work and the timing of it, especially when it comes to seasons where gas can be short during the winter is the biggest concern for me. So how to marry those sort of rate sensitivities with the sort of primary mission of this safety division, I think I would like to get our heads wrapped around that if we could going forward.
No, absolutely, Senator. Thank you very much for your insight. And I will definitely be circling back with the Energy Division to ensure that we can get you a solid answer on that.
Great.
We have done that coordination before. I just want to make sure you have the most updated information.
Appreciate that. And welcome aboard. We're very, very thrilled to have your talent and experience and taking that that attitude, the military style attitude of getting your six and really looking after your fellow people and looking after culture in that comprehensive way. So appreciate your testimony today, and gives me a lot of confidence to see you at the helm there. My very last question, Mr. Chair, still in this sort of this rate vein, I really want to make sure that ratepayer dollars for all this safety work are being expended smart and cost effectively. I have been concerned, and I raised this concern with the Public Utilities Commission about use of ratepayer dollars funding advocacy efforts and sort of being diverted away from what is actually the pipeline safety upgrade work towards politics or advocacy. I know there's been an issue around one particular group that's been covered and addressed, this, I think it's Clean Energy for Business Solutions, that the gas company was funding, and that the Public Utilities Commission is apparently investigating that issue, and that issue rests right now with the president, Ms. Batcher. But another organization has popped up recently that appears to also be utility funded, called United Latinos Vote. I've seen advertisements popping up in newspapers all around Ventura County, Los Angeles County. I'm told that some of it is actually funded, even though it's in Ventura and LA County, by PG&E, pushing back on climate and safety regulations through a political arm. And I'm wondering, both from PG&E and the gas company, whether any ratepayer dollars, to their knowledge, have been used to fund this organization?
This is Christine Cowsert from PG&E. I'm not aware of this organization and not aware of any ratepayer funding going to fund it, but happy to follow up and confirm that that's the case.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ng?
Thank you, Senator Stern. Great
Just,
question.
sorry, just Ms. Ng, do you know, are you aware of any ratepayer dollars being spent to fund that organization?
I am not. I have to be honest, I have not heard of this organization, but I will definitely look into it. As a Latina in Southern California, I'm interested to learn more about this organization.
Thanks. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that, and look forward to following up.